Meghan Markle has been branded a narcissist, but what is narcissism and how do you identify a narcissistic personality? I'm Sue Blackhurst and I've been writing and delivering training courses based on social psychology for the past 23 years. So watch this video and I'm going to teach you the 4 different types of narcissistic personality to help you identify whether you or someone you know is a narcissist. So if you're fascinated by social psychology and love learning about the people around you, remember to subscribe now and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my weekly videos. Please do be advised that this video is for education, entertainment and review purposes. All materials and photos have been found on the public domain and I'm using them under the USA Fair Use and UK Fair Dealing Guidelines. I'm delivering content that is based upon extensive research studies conducted by qualified clinical psychologists, psychotherapists or medical practitioners. My comments are subjective and may not necessarily be true. I urge everyone to do their own research. So on a more serious note, reading through the comments, there was definitely, I would say, a common thread that was running through them, and that was the word narcissist. So what I wanted to do this week is actually look at what a narcissist is, look at narcissistic personalities, and help us try and identify how the world looks from a narcissistic personality, because they are looking at the world at a very different angle to us. Now, this doesn't justify or explain, it's simply to help us understand what it's like to see the world through the eyes of a narcissist. So Greek legend has it that Narcissus was a handsome man searching for the perfect love, but after rejecting a beautiful nymph called Echo, he caught a reflection of himself in a river and immediately fell in love with the person looking back at him from the pool of water. Now he was so enamoured with what he saw that he was unable to leave and he eventually drowned. So first of all, there's 2 things we need to separate and define. Narcissism is a personality trait that someone can exhibit. So you can't do tests and offer therapy to sort it out. It's like calling somebody mean and sending them to the doctor for a cure. There's no pills to make it better. However, if there is a long-term pattern of abnormal behaviour characterised by exaggerated feelings of self-importance or an excessive need for admiration and a lack of empathy, then this leads to something quite different called narcissistic personality disorder. Now that's where clinical psychologists come in. So for today, let's just stick with the narcissistic traits. Like all behavioural traits, we will all possess narcissistic traits, but that doesn't make you a narcissist. To be a narcissist, you really need to have most, if not all, the traits that I'm going to explain. It's a bit like not sharing a bag of sweets doesn't make you mean. But add that to a host of all the other mean characteristics or traits, and it only strengthens the label. So don't worry as I run through these traits because you may have the odd one, but it doesn't make you a narcissist. In fact, some of these traits are essential for success, but it's how you use them that actually makes the difference. So let's have a look at the 4 different types of narcissism and see if you recognise any of these in people you know. So the first type we call grandiose narcissism, and this is probably the most classical and familiar trait that you recognise in someone. It's characterised by a grandiose view of oneself and a sense of entitlement and this need for admiration and attention seeking. These are the people that love the designer label. They'll wear the red-soled shoes just because it tells everybody what they're wearing. These people have an inflated self-image, they think they're better looking, they're smarter, and they're just simply more important than other people. And as a result, they believe that they deserve special treatment. So the grandiose narcissist is constantly seeking validation. It's all about me, me, me. But their mind is so full of themselves that they just don't have time to stop and talk or listen to anybody else. So these people crave position and power, and these traits are often seen in politicians and celebrities. But why would one person be admired for such a belief while the next person's criticised? Well, not everyone who pursues these positions of power is a narcissist, and the difference is the reason that they pursue the power and recognition. So personalities in sport, music or politics, they may have a grandiose self-image, but the difference is that they have earned this position and they're receiving adoration based on what they've achieved and not for the attention that goes with it. So in summary, the grandiose narcissist would have a strapline that says, "It's all about me." So do you think that was strengthened and confirmed by Harry's comment of, "What Meghan wants, Meghan gets"? Now, the next type is what we call a malignant narcissist. Now, these are actually far more problematic because they portray all the same traits as the grandiose narcissist, but they have the added slyness and meanness without a conscience. So the malignant narcissist will lie, cheat and steal from others for their own self-gain. If they see something or someone that they want, they'll go out of their way to get it without a thought for the people that they use along the way. However, once that need is fulfilled and that person is no longer of any use, they think nothing of discarding them too. The malignant narcissist can and does feel sorry for the other person, the difference being that they don't actually care. So we know that covert means secret or hidden. Well, this type of narcissist is more underhand as they show one face in public with another one in private. The covert narcissist feels very put upon by the world. It's all just so unfair. So they try to overshadow someone else's success as they truly believe it should have been them. Now, when most people will take feedback and look at where they can improve or even laugh at themselves when things go wrong, the covert narcissist doesn't even see themselves as anything other than perfect. And as a result, when things don't go their way, they will blame everyone else and may even begin a smear campaign to discredit others. After all, how could it possibly be them? So the difference with the covert narcissist is their ability to switch emotions so their public and private faces are very, very different. Behind closed doors, they're prone to childish tantrums. They will be very demanding. If they don't get what they want, they will be blaming everybody else and having a bit of a screaming fit. Reminds me a little bit of Veruca Salt on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But once they're out in public, they are all sweetness and light and have a very different face. But the key thing here to realise is they know how to switch their behaviours or their behavioural traits on and off depending upon who's in front of them. And it's this intentional change in behaviour that's dangerous because they know how to switch it on and off for the audience rather than just being a spoilt brat. So for the covert narcissist, everything revolves around them being seen as the victim. And if that no longer happens, they will throw something out to ensure that they are still in the forefront of people's minds. Now, the fourth type is the communal narcissist, and these are the ones that put their whole world on social media just to shout out, "Look what I've done, aren't I great?" They are focused on sharing all their good deeds and wanting the world to see how much they're giving, but sadly not for the benefit of the cause, but for the attention and adoration they receive for doing it. So the communal narcissist is always out there trying to save the world. Charities are a great way for them to stand out as they go to every event with a photo opportunity to hand over a big donation. But sadly, they're not sharing the good deeds for the benefit of the cause that they claim to support. It's their own self-image as they're only after the recognition for the work that they're doing. So the communal narcissist will post pictures of them holding children from impoverished regions. But in a way, it's like a stage where they'll do these things for the cameras, but once the camera stops, so do they. It's like, I've done my job, can I go now? They aren't overly concerned with the stories of the suffering as they don't have a tremendous amount of empathy for the people they're trying to help. They will give some coins to the man begging in the street, but they're not actually interested in his story or wonder how they can help. They see themselves as so far above these people they are rescuing that they aren't asking the world for support, they're seeking recognition for their contribution. So basically they're shouting out, "Look at my greatness, look at all I'm giving, aren't I fantastic?" Now, there is a huge point here because there's many of you out there who will be posting on social media about charity work that you're doing or the plight of the homeless. The big difference here is you are doing it to support the charities to gain more help and support and raise more funds, whereas the narcissist is doing it purely and simply for the recognition that they have been doing some work. So if that's you and you're doing your charity work, huge well done, don't stop, keep up the good work. So they have 4 different types of narcissistic behaviours. Now, the thing about narcissism, it's not something you're born with, it's something that's developed throughout life. Parents can be guilty of putting their child on a pedestal and constantly reiterating to the child that they're fantastic, they're perfect, and aren't they wonderful? But if a child doesn't grow out of these selfish behaviours, once they hit adulthood, it's very difficult for a narcissist to change their ways. So today we've been looking at how to identify narcissistic personality traits and how the narcissist views the world. Now tune in next week because I'll be giving you some hints and tips of how to manage narcissistic people. So if you know somebody at home or at work that you believe is a narcissist, don't miss my video because I'll be giving you a check sheet and some help as to how to manage their behaviours. Thank you again so much to those people that have bought me a coffee. I think what a fantastic thing to do, and it just shows the appreciation because it does take time to put these videos together. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you next week.